Jacob right here with New Spirit Old Soul, and I'm with my good friend Eric Mintel from
There he
Eric
is.
Mintel Investing. Hey man, good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's good to be seen.
Yeah, always nice to have you out here, and
Oh man,
for a different reason now, not to investigate,
I know.
but to talk about your investigations.
I love it. You know, you guys with those investigations we did here at the homestead, you guys are so much fun to work with. I mean, it was like a serious investigation, but it was also fun.
You know, we started out fun, and then it turned serious.
Oh my God, yeah.
Unexpectedly.
And it was supposed to be a fun, lighthearted video, and then just on a dime, it
we were having a good time, and then something serious happened.
Yeah, it was insane. It was just like, and that was something that rarely happens on our investigations.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see things, we'll see orbs and maybe shadow figures and whatnot, during the post production in editing and whatnot. But to have something that happened to Beth on site,
Mm-hmm.
and as we say, bum rush her, that
Mm-hmm.
spirit, but it was just insane. And I said to Beth, I'm a respectable guy. Do you really want to have that on there of what happened to you? Because she really had a complete meltdown.
Absolutely.
And she's like, no, if that happened that way, we have to keep it that way.
It was real. Go ahead and put it in, and you were nice with the editing. You didn't put the full.
There was a lot more.
There was a lot more there, but you showed that she had a serious reaction, and
oh my God,
and great video.
You were comforting her, and just and everybody was really. I mean, it was wild how everything went from very lighthearted to serious, like in a drop.
The energy that night was definitely stuck around for a little bit.
You know who I blame? I blame Dominic.
Eric. Dominic.
Yeah.
Dom. And she still blames Dom. She goes, I can go in that room now and move things around and set things up, but if Dom's here, she won't cross the threshold of that room.
Yeah.
She knows that he's bringing her out.
So I mean, it was just that, and that was like, I can't believe that was like a year and a half ago already.
Yeah, hard to believe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, that was good, and that was one investigation you can see on YouTube. The Hallowed Grounds at the Homestead.
Hallowed Grounds at the Homestead.
Part 1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2, yes. And we did the follow-up, and that was I believe that was like January of 2023, I believe. And because we did the first one in 2022, 23 was the follow-up, and even the follow-up was even more. We got a lot more stuff, and a lot more of the story like started unfolding.
Yeah, it's I'm a skeptic, but being around this and seeing the reaction that Beth had and that other people have, and watching your videos, reading your book, there's something there. And to your point earlier about you don't always get something good on video, but you're hearing all these stories from multiple people who have the multiple same reaction. I think the Beast of
Bray Road.
Oh, and the Beast of Brynathan.
Beast of Brynathan. I mean,
the howls in the background.
Oh my God,
that was nice to capture, right?
And we didn't. Yeah, that was like. So we were out in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and I had heard about this Beast of Bray Road for years, and really didn't put too much into it. And Dominic will tell you that I went into this thing thinking that we wouldn't really capture anything or do anything other than have a great story, talk to some great people, have a great documentary. Never thinking once that we would ever encounter this creature, which we did, which was insane. And it's supposed to be a 6 to 7 foot tall dog man, upright canine that walks on 2 legs. Now, when I first heard that, I'm like, really? But then what happened in this investigation, which you could see on the Beast of Bray Road, Alive and Well, on my YouTube channel, but it was just insane what happened.
And you have so many testimonials from so many different people having the same experience.
Right.
Like, how can that be that there's so many different things?
There's got to be something there.
There's something there. There's something there.
And I always say at the end of the day, there's like, people are seeing something. Or at the end of the day, maybe it's that people are connected to these spirits. Like Beth, she's connected to that spirit. And that's why it came into her. Or it could be generational too. Maybe it's in family lines and things like that. That's one thing we're looking into as well. So and it's funny how Dominic can pick up on stuff like that too. I don't have those abilities to go in and, and feel those. Although in one area, we'll talk about it later, is the Vampa Museum, where there's a room there, which I just feel like, and a lot of people feel like, we got to get out of here.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Dom, and everyone says he is a channel.
Yeah.
Is a receptor.
Yeah.
When did Dom discover? You'd known him since high school.
Yeah.
When did he discover this?
I think he's had it since was born. I guess he said he was born with the veil, and the veil is supposed to be that psychic connection,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's had that. And even as a kid, he remembers talking to people in his backyard. Well, these people turned out to be Lenape Indians that were spirits of these
Right,
Indians.
he's
And
too young to
yeah,
recognize that
and
it's
he,
anything but just people he's talking
yeah,
to.
exactly. And so he never really put too much into it when he was younger. He knew he had this gift, but he never talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And even in high school, he and I are working out together. We did a martial art instructional video together back then.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting there just eating our geese, doing all these moves and stuff, but never knew that he was a spirit medium until he came in to our investigations in 2017. After I started in 2016, he came in a year later and said, I might be, good for your investigations because I'm a medium, a spirit medium. I'm like, what?
What?
You never told me this. What?
You were friends for a long time at that point.
And I never knew that. And we lost touch with each other too.
Mm-hmm.
So this was after the martial arts stuff. That was in the early '90s, and then all of a sudden we just, life goes.
Sure, absolutely.
He got married, I got married and divorced, married and divorced,
Right.
and then and then we met up again later on. But he's been really a major asset to the team.
No doubt about that. He really does have something there, and the people around him, like Beth, that whatever energies they feel, because that instance wasn't the only time that she's felt stuff in her life.
Oh yeah,
and it's channeled things.
Well,
in
that's
her
why
life.
I'm thinking it's connected because people like Beth, maybe their antenna is more attuned to these spirits than
in her family. So her other sisters have similar things. So you're talking about the generational line. Yeah. Maybe there is something there.
It could be. That's something we have to look into a little bit more. And that's what we do. And I look at Dominic and our other spirit medium, psychic medium, Julie Krause. They're like giving us a preview of what we're in store for. And that's always, it's kind of comforting to know what you're kind of going into.
I love hearing like what people's point of view of what are these. I've heard Ty has said people energy trapped in time.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Or places that are haunted, like the spirits that are here. They liked being here. They liked being here. Or maybe they don't know that they're not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? They're trapped in that envelope of time.
Right. So they're here. They're always going to be here. There's some kind of energy force that's either keeping them here, or like you said, they would like to be here, so they just chose to stay.
And I always say too that maybe if there's a place being haunted, I don't think we've never run into any kind of malevolent spirits. Although you could say that the spirit here it wasn't really malevolent.
Right.
It wanted to be known, so it kind of came out in a little bit more aggressive way.
Sure.
But it wasn't evil or anything like that. And what we found is that, and TV shows and things like that, they want to really exaggerate that, and make those things a little bit more than they are. But I would say that if there's a place that's being haunted, those spirits like being there.
That's nice.
Because you always hear pubs, restaurants, inns, bed and breakfasts, homesteads. So and this is a beautiful, 1759 farmhouse. There was so much going on here.
Yeah.
And the story's still unfolding. We don't really even know half of the history here. We know a little bit, but
over
there's
260 years old. There's a lot of people have come through here. A lot of energies.
And it's beautiful. Sure. What you guys have done to this place is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been incredible. In the late 70s, Thelma Cook brought it back to its original condition. This house is everything. It's in its original condition. We did some painting, and that's about it. But it is a beautiful place, and we've had some people who have just kept it and then realized that it's something special and really maintained it. And so it was nice to take over a homestead.
And how you guys came to find this place is the story is amazing. Just
that's
how you kind of were drawn to this, or it drew you to this place.
It was definitely a unique situation that we just happened to be driving by and pulled in, and we just told the owner we want to buy this place, like out of nowhere. Like we don't even know anything about it. We just pulled into the driveway and saw like this
offer.
It took 3 years. But, she eventually said yes. So here we are. So in your book,
and they got the hard copy, by the way.
Yes, I
was like, wow, I don't even have that.
I ordered this on Amazon.
That's awesome.
I wanted the hard copy, and I'm going to get you to sign it before you go today.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
But really, for a dyslexic ADHD guy, easy read. I can tell you wrote it because I know
you know my language,
your
my
language
talk,
and your
yeah.
pacing, and I'm reading it in your voice, and
Yeah,
it kind of
cool.
makes me giggle a little bit. But
That's good. That's good to hear because I was like hoping that would be because I went over this thing over and over it again. Probably 100,000 times to for grammar and stuff like that. You want to make it like sound in your own words, but you want to make it make sense too. So and I'm glad to hear you say that.
Well, I love that it's a lot of short stories so that I can stay
Blow
focused.
through
Yeah,
it.
blow through it
Yeah.
and go to the next one.
Me
Oh,
too.
what
That's
was
how
it?
I am.
Yeah.
If I'm a reader, I like reading, but if I'm reading there too long, I start falling asleep. And that's how. I mean, it's good for me because then it kind of calms my brain down a little bit. But
and I'm a slow reader, so it took me a few hours to read it. But a few hours is not
good.
bad for a quick reader. It's probably a couple hour read and real easy. But so interesting going from one story to the next and all the interactions, and there's so many similarities in the story. Out of all these stories and the things that you've seen, I mean, what really which one has really stood out to you as really a haunting or
Well, the one that I still think that just freaks me out to this day, and not really freaks me out, but it's kind of like I look at it as my guardian angel.
I read that one.
was the first one. The lady in white that this happened to me in November of 1997. But the Beast of Bray Road is another one. I mean, that was like that really happened. There's something there.
Right.
And for us to capture that howl, the eye shine, the UFO, the weird mist, everything that's been talked about this creature, we captured that night.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
So that thing, and we're still wrapping our heads around what that could be.
Well, and in the video, you hear the guys talking about hearing the growling and the howls, and then you capture it.
It was crazy. Well, here's the other thing I didn't know, and I don't know if you even know this, but I just in the last month or two, I just happened to wear headphones to listen to those howls. I never did that before. I don't know why. Even in the editing, I never put headphones on.
You're at the computer.
I was at I got the speakers on, but I said, let me go listen to these with the headphones. I was blown away because on the second howl, there's a growl that's happening behind us, and you could hear it go like that, and it was right behind us. It wasn't Dom, it wasn't our stomachs or anything like that. But I mean, it could have been, but no, but it wasn't that. And then and there was no rustling. I mean, there was no wind or anything, but we kept hearing this rustling going on behind us. And so when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that thing was really close.
Yeah, you're cranking up the sound and you can probably hear that.
Yeah. And it was closer than we thought. But the weird thing is we heard the same type of growl at the Vampa Museum. So it was weird, man.
Yeah,
it's
very
like,
interesting.
is this thing following us? Or is it
You know what? You've been on so many investigations around so many energies. What if one did attach it to?
I try. That's a good question. And a lot of times I go into it with my own faith and protection and stuff like that. And even in the Vampa Museum, we had Julie sage us.
I read that
because that was a crazy night. But yeah, you've got all these kind of energies. And then when we did the follow up of the Beast of Bray Road in April of 2022, I could not believe that we had 140 people showed up for the town hall meeting, all describing the same creature, the same thing, the same sounds, the way it walks. People saw this thing walking on two legs, and when it's walking on two legs, it looks like it's gliding, but on all fours, it's really fast. And then that was the same description of the Beast of Bryn Athyn over here outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I couldn't help but to flip back and forth between those two stories and watch. Speaking of, I love that this is a beautiful overview to read, but then the fact that you have the backup of the videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm going. I gotta go see this one.
And I gotta go see this one. It's a companion book to the videos.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people I was just up at the Exeter UFO Festival in New Hampshire, and I was selling books, and I was telling people about the different chapters. And when I let them hear the clip from the Beast of Bray Road, oh, I gotta buy a book. I gotta buy this. So that was, and it's cool because then they could go to the video, see the entire video, see what I'm talking about. Because you know how it is. We're all about truth-based investigating, and we don't use a lot of the gimmicks that a lot of the ghost hunters are using and whatnot. We don't use REM pods or spirit boxes because they're just going to give you a false reading. I mean, with all this equipment here, it could go off. I mean, we could have a REM pod here, and it could go off just because of the lights or our cell phones. So So we try to rely on Dom, which sometimes is good or bad.
Well, and you were in this house where there's
Oh
nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the meter was
I
going
always
off.
tell people that there's nothing in here,
Right.
but we're getting readings over here. We're getting readings up in the
Big
bedroom.
readings.
Oh, big time, big time.
Yeah.
And so we're not done here, man. We got to come back. We've got to eventually come back here. But it's amazing, man, what you guys have done and the story that's unfolded here.
It's been fun, and more people keep asking for another one, and it's definitely, we have not uncovered.
2025.
Yes. People keep on asking for another. We have wonderful customers here that keep coming back and want to hear the stories and how it went, and check out the YouTube channel.
Well, the thing is, if people want to hear it, hear the whole story. October 12th. If this comes out by then, we're going to be here.
We're going to be here
doing another presentation of Hallowed Grounds of the Homestead, part 1 and 2 this time, and we're going to have it's going to be a great event. And we had the very first event we had was phenomenal.
That was wonderful.
That was incredible. And
we packed the house on that one.
Oh, it was incredible. So all of your friends and fans, you guys have built an incredible fan base. So yeah, October 12th, we're going to be here at 7:00. You got to be here, and I'm sure you'll.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if not, you'll have the video posted, and you get to see that follow up again.
And we're going to have some books available that night as well.
Yep. And so tell me more about what drove you to writing the book.
Well, for years I thought, I should write a book, and I actually wrote a book. Initially, me being a jazz musician for 31 years, I wrote a book on how to book gigs. So it was called, and that's out now on Amazon too. It's called How I Got a Chance to Perform at the White House Twice.
Yes, I saw that book when I was Googling. You're trying to find this book. I'm like, wait, what's this?
So that was and I put them out at the same time, and because I figured, they're musicians. I think that's the biggest roadblock to them is booking gigs, how to go about doing it. So I pretty much put my process out there and said, this is how I do it. Maybe it works for you, maybe not. Maybe add your own, do it cafeteria style, add little bits here and there. So I wrote that, and that's called, that's a jazz man's guide to getting the gig. And then I wrote this, just said, and this was so much easier to write, because I just was drawing from all the investigations we went on. So, and then I wound up, I was trying to find somebody to help me put it together. And I couldn't find anybody. It was like a year trying to figure out how to put this thing together. I didn't know, not ever having done this before. And so I finally got it all together and put it out there. And oh my God, I just bit the bullet, finished it, made sure it was grammatically correct, put it out there, put our picture on the front cover. I was originally had a dog man on the front cover, but I had to change the cover because of Amazon's copyright stuff, I guess. So I figured, well, why not? This is me and Dom.
This is you and Dom.
We're on the investigation. So, and everybody says Dom's look is priceless.
It is. It's typical Dom's look too.
Exactly.
That is true for sure. Yeah. So the next book is How to Write a Book.
I know, right? The next book is How to Write a Book and get it out there and make $1 million. But it's going good. It's selling really well on Amazon, and my book signings are going really great. So I know we're going to do one today. I really appreciate you guys having me up here, because why not? We have a chapter in here of Hallowed Grounds of the Homestead. It has to be here. We got to do. So we have to, have that connection there.
So while you're writing the book, you must really be thinking about all the things you've been through. What does that make you think of all the things you've done in your career and the investigation?
It's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to go through. I mean, like with a lot of the investigations, we have put ourselves in harm's way a lot of times.
I was going to ask you that, because how do you find the courage to, you hear something, let's go that way towards it. As a military guy, people always said that to me, people are shooting at you and then you're going towards the bullets, so.
Yeah. And thank you for your service too, by the way. But I'll tell you, that's right. It's almost like, when we heard those howls from the Beast of Bray Road, it was almost, the fear factor was there. Yes. I had gotten attacked by 2 Dobermans when I was younger. So that was like, whenever I hear a dog bark like that, it's like I get that PTSD kind of thing happening. But there it was weird, because I was kind of like, what are we hearing? Dominic always wants to bust me and say I was ready to dive into the truck, but I was like seriously going like, what are we listening? What are we hearing here? And we're going toward it. And then what really got me and why I got out of there was because Dominic says, shine the light over to where we heard the howls. So we shine the light over there, and here, this thing's supposed to be 6 to 7 feet tall.
Right.
In the corn, we see eye shine going like this back and forth.
Fun.
And I was like, because we didn't have any protection.
Jump on the 4-wheelers.
No military guy here. We had no protection, man. We had no bear spray, nothing. We had a flashlight and a radio. And that was my stupidity. And I will own up to that, of thinking that we would never see anything.
Right.
That's why we were out there. And Lee, the farmer that we were in his hayfield, he had said to me, he's like, "Do you want to take the flare gun?"
Right.
And I should have taken that.
You said you should.
If that was that was there, which it was, we could have shot that thing up and maybe
light it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
you said that
in hindsight, man, you just don't know. And there's that few second period that you've got a chance to get this footage,
right?
Whether it's that or if it's UFOs or something like that. I mean, my girlfriend Sherry and I had a UFO encounter in Stockton, New Jersey, right outside of New Hope, going over this bridge, and it's a chapter in the book too. We're going over the bridge into Stockton. She owned a farmhouse, a lot smaller, like this, in Stockton. Beautiful little farmhouse on like 65 acres.
Wow! And
it was a beautiful place. But we were going over there, and all of a sudden, over the bridge, going over the Delaware, I see 5 orange orbs that just appeared out of nowhere. And they look like swirling lava up there. And they were only like 200 or 300 feet above the bridge. So they were really low. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm rushing to get my phone to try to take a picture. Of course, the flash goes off in the car, right? Then I got to go do that, take the flash off, and take time doing that. While I'm doing that, one by one, they're starting to disappear. But I was able to get one shot, which is in the book. But in my rational mind, and I'm always trying to debunk these things. I'm not one to say that every place is haunted, everything's a UFO, everything's Bigfoot. So I'm always I'm the biggest skeptic too.
Right.
So, but having said that, and then having captured what we captured, I'm like, holy mackerel, there's something going on here. But
because you're looking for real truth.
Yeah, we want to get that evidence. But that was something I could not explain, man. And so in my rational mind, there's a restaurant down there. I'm thinking, could these be Chinese lanterns, that somebody set off? But maybe there's a wedding going on. But it was a Wednesday night. It was cold.
Well, in the picture in the book, even you could, like you said, swirling fire. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it was.
How do you explain that?
It was insane, man. And it was, and that's not the only story. I've heard people seeing the same thing. And there's a lot of footage captured of those orbs out there.
Yeah, a lot of talk about UFOs now, UAPs and so on, and why they're here, where they come from.
Military. I had a military guy last weekend. It was in the Air Force or in the Navy, Navy flyer, going over the Azores, and they were doing submarine spotting, and that was his job. He showed me pictures of him in the cockpit, but over the Azores, he took pictures of those orbs, and he said it looked like lava, and it was it looks like a ship. It looks like a Tic Tac.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Well, okay, so I have this conspiracy theory about UFOs because I've heard a lot of different things. That's all out there.
Yeah,
I'm a Joe Rogan listener and everything. So, one of the aspects was they like us because we have souls, right? And so, and why is that? And are we vessels of souls, and they want to collect our souls later, or are they going to harvest us eventually, or something like that? And so I had this crazy theory in my own mind, and I never said it publicly before. So
until now,
it is crazy. So, what if, since they want our souls so bad, that our government has made a deal with them, and that's why we have so many wars and so many people dying and health concerns, because they have to feed these beings.
And look at
COVID. That was what really made me think of it. It's like, because they want to come and take us over, and like the government's making a deal saying, no, if you let us feed you these souls over time, then it gives us more time to live as a society.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt that. I would say, look, that you could be right there. I also had a theory about the COVID-19 thing, because thinking about the vaccine, that it's not real, but there is a lot of people that died from this thing, but I was thinking this vaccine was to protect them from coming here.
Right.
Or
vice versa. right.
and vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
or us from them.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why they were pushing it so hard to try to get as many people.
So I mean, but that then you go down a
huge rabbit
hole of all that kind of, and then you piss a lot of people off. But yeah, no, it's fascinating, man. I mean, there is a story, and it's all complete conjecture, but back in the 50s, 1952, it was supposed to be Eisenhower had a treaty act with the aliens, basically because of Roswell. The aliens came here, and they said, "Look, we will give you this technology," which they had the cell phone at the time and all this kind of stuff. But if you would let us abduct your humans because our race is dying,
right?
They had this pact where they would abduct 5,000 people a year. And so you had a lot of things going on.
There's a lot of similar things.
Yeah. So I'm like, I always say there's a little bit of truth to the folklore,
right?
But who knows if it's just a story.
People disappear every day.
There's
no explanation.
There's another book written called Stranger at the Pentagon, where this guy came in, and his name was Valiant Thor from Venus, and he was here as a alien representative, and talking about this thing that went on with Eisenhower. So there's a lot of different conjecture. You could go down the rabbit hole of all the abductions but what is it? It's that that at the end of the day, we're trying to find the answers. Right. And we always leave these investigations with more questions than answers. So it's fascinating nonetheless.
So 2 more topics, and I'll wrap it up here. But what? So you have the Bigfoot on your sleeve, and
Bigfoot,
I know
UFO.
That's right, covering all the bases there. What is
There's a ghost back there too.
What is the fascination with the Bigfoot in society, and is it like the beast?
I think Bigfoot is so popular because it's just become more and more popular because people are having these experiences with this thing. And they're also having experiences with UFOs at the same time, where they're seeing Bigfoot and UFO. But if you talk to the Bigfoot researchers, they don't think there's a connection there at all. But the more and more we talk about and have these occurrences happen in these experiences, there always seems to be a UFO spotted when you see a Bigfoot.
That's interesting.
And the guys in 1967, when they captured that classic footage, the Patterson-Gimlin film, right. Those guys just happened to be there at the right place at the right time. There's no way that could be anybody in a suit. At that time, we didn't have any kind of technology or capabilities of making that kind of a suit that would show muscles. And you've got the thigh muscles that you could see in that suit. I think they did a comparison of Planet of the Apes, like the following year, and the monkeys were in a like a sauna, and the guy and the costume, it was like he's there wearing a carpet. Yeah, there was no delineation of anything, Yeah. So it's pretty fascinating. But those guys just happen to be there. But I think the fascination is that could this be an unknown creature, an unknown animal that we're on the cusps of identifying? Could it be prehistoric man still, roaming, and they found a way just to keep themselves hidden. I mean, look at the pygmy tribes in some of the Amazon.
Right, we've seen.
You can't see it. I mean, they're so well hidden. So I don't know. I don't discount anything.
Right. Yeah, because everything's still, like you said, more questions than answers. Yeah. And until you have them, you got to keep questioning.
I think Dom's Bigfoot. I think Dom.
You know what?
There was a naked hairy man up at Lake Placid. Sorry, Dom.
Not sorry, Dom. So tell me about the Vamp Museum, because I've been wanting to get up there.
Oh, you got to get up there.
That just opened last year.
You got to get up there.
It looks so.
If you go up there, take Ty with you.
He will.
He will freak
out. I got to record him just because I want to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What we should do is we should do a ride along with Eric Mintel Investigates, you and Ty, and we go over to the Vampa Museum.
Oh, and just reaction video, right?
Reaction videos, but it would be awesome. But the Vampa Museum is owned by Edmondo Crimi. He's been, in antiques. He's been in the area for like 40 years in that location. But the museum just opened up last October. And the museum really is all about the battle between good and evil.
Yeah. And
he's got over 700 vampire killing sets in there from like the 17 and 1800s. Now, if you saw some of these things, I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, beautiful items, but I'm like saying to myself, why so many?
Mm-hmm.
What was going on then?
Right.
What is happening?
And that's not even all of them,
And
right?
that's not
Yeah.
all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got like the salt, he's got like holy water, a lot of these chests that came over on boats.
And I
And
love your videos from there, because then you get
thank
to
you.
kind of see in the
Yeah.
background a little bit of the museum, and like,
Uh,
I can't wait to
oh,
go.
it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
But Dom will not go in there anymore. He's done. He's done
Classic
because
Dom.
I know he's done because he got growled at when we were doing this investigation. Actually, we were doing some B-roll, and we wound up being in front of this doll room where Dom thought he had heard a growl in that room, and he was in front of the window or the door, and his back was to it, and you could see the dolls in there. There's like a big clown face, and there's a beautiful Burmese doll in there that's got real hair.
Mm-hmm.
She's just got like this plastered smile on her face.
Yeah,
But
that picture's crazy.
it is.
Yeah.
And as he says that he thought it was the voice boxes of the dolls with the batteries
running out. Yeah.
But there's no batteries
no
in those. They're all antiques.
Right.
With that, he says that we hear a growl coming from there, and he freaks out. And you could see it on the video. It's just
I think that's
crazy.
what I love about Dom. You always drag him to the craziest places.
Yeah,
And
I know.
he always goes, but he never really wants to be there. And he's the first to go, I'm okay with leaving.
He's ready to go.
Because he feels it more than anyone else.
He does. He's like ready to go. And usually
I'm convinced.
He has to be in bed by 9 o'clock. So, but no, but he's like, yeah. I mean, I dragged him out to Haunted Hillview Manor out in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we captured some crazy stuff there. Up to Cheney Hall, up in Manchester, Connecticut, and he captured something in the dressing room there, which was just it was. He was asking on an EVP if there was any entities there with him, and as he's sitting there, and he hears this knock on the wherever it was. Yeah. And it scared the hell out of him.
He's done some readings, individual readings here.
Yep.
For people here. One night we had him here, and they came out of there convinced.
Oh, they were blown away.
Blown away.
Yep.
I mean, he's the real deal for sure.
Well, he'll be here too on the 12th.
Yes, can't wait to see him.
And we're going to do that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So tell us, what do you got to plug?
So so this is my new book, Eric Mintel Investigates Casebook Investigations, 2016 to present, and talk about a lot of really cool cases that we've been on. And it's available on Amazon. And you can get it on Amazon, both paperback or hard copy, which I love this.
Yes.
I haven't seen what this looks like. That's amazing. That looks really, and it's an easy read, as Jacob said. So,
yes.
And it's been selling really well. And we're going to have some books available on the 12th of October, and I'm doing a book signing today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, excited to have you here. And
thank you so much,
and
man.
New Spirit, Old Soul. We're open for fall and Christmas. We're going to be open every weekend until the weekend before Christmas. So come out and visit us here at the homestead, and maybe get a little peek of ghosts walking around.
You never know. And the place is so awesome here, folks. You got to get out here. Amazing what these guys have done here. So you guys, it's always a pleasure, man.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks,
guys.
for having me.
Thanks,
man.
Eric.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.